Are you aware that you are only aware of a tiny sliver of what's really going on all around you and within you? Because your brain is designed to filter. We're going to talk about that filter. Hey everyone, it's Gina. You're listening to Seer Sessions. Every week, I share journeys that help you quiet mental noise, rebuild your self-trust, all so you can connect to your inner signal. This summer on Seer Sessions, we are getting out there. I'll tell you all about how. And when I do, I want you to remember that this is just simply an offering of framework. So I am not an expert, but I do have a lot of experience with these topics in these states of consciousness. So think of it as just an offering of a framework, and I'm going to guide you through it. And in that, of course, I'm going to invite you to reflect and think about it with me, since our reality just continues to get stranger and stranger. Now, the more out there we get in topic, the more important it is to understand yourself and this idea of discernment, what that means for you once you know yourself. Knowing yourself, knowing what is for you and what is not for you, that's how you're going to be able to take these out there topics with me and bring them down and make them beneficial and help you understand and conceptualize your life even better today. Because if you're like me and a lot of my clients, you're often thinking, what in the world is going on? How do we make sense of this? What is the point of it all? What's my purpose in it? I want to feel purpose. Exploring altered states of consciousness in the last almost 8 years with clients, looking for questions just like this on my own hypnotic journeys, on my clients' hypnotic journeys. We can get these answers when we seek to understand consciousness, understand and expand our awareness. The influences, the unconscious, the subconscious. When we can get a greater understanding of ourselves, that is what leads to a sense of control. So often we feel out of control. So to expand your awareness, your understanding of your consciousness, your mind, what's going on in here and how it influences every part of you, your decisions, your beliefs, your points of view, how you take in the world. When we can expand that and understand more of it, it helps us to see what's really going on. That shift helped me to just be even more rooted in my purpose, more confident in my daily decisions. I think especially as a woman, we have so many stories that we've been told that we should be, how we should act, what kind of service we should be providing to those around us, just simply for the pleasure of existing. And on the conversation level, it just seems like, oh, who cares? Oh, let it go. But a lot of those things are like baked into us. And so the more we seek to become aware of the influences around us and within us, the more life makes sense. And you're probably like me, you want a little bit more of that. So in this world of relativity, we're going to go way out there this summer on Seer Sessions, and it's going to help you understand yourself even more and give you a little framework for all the weird stuff going on. I mean, 1 minute you're chopping vegetables and the next minute you're listening to a podcast and they mention how some AI giant is opening portals to visit aliens. Like, as the world gets weirder, we're going to get clearer. So we begin with an expanded awareness, that idea, that practice, what are the benefits, and all the buzzwords out there that I believe are leading back to expanded awareness. The biggest buzzwords for this out there are astral projection, the astral plane. But there are all kinds of buzzwords that people throw out there, and what we're really talking about is an altered state of consciousness, one where we can expand what we are aware of. You've heard it called lucid dreaming, remote viewing, channeling, seances, intuition, psychic perception, telepathy, ghosts, paranormal encounters, interdimensional beings, symbolic visions, out-of-body experiences, life between lives, experiencing other lifetimes, past lifetimes, parallel lifetimes, future lives, trance, touching the divine, and so much more. It's all different branches, different language for the same umbrella, overarching term, expanding your awareness. So before we dive a little bit more into expanded awareness and why I'm so passionate about such a nebulous thing, I just want to tell you where we're going this summer on Seer Sessions. June, we're laying the foundation, talking about expanded awareness. This is my second time recording this episode. Tomorrow it gets released. Hopefully this works. You guys, it's such a topic to think about. It almost like sends me out of my body. It's really kind of crazy. So we're going into expanded awareness. We're talking about astral projection. We're going to dive into the astral plane too, just because I hear those terms all the time. I had someone say to me, I want to try astral projection. Do you know anything about it? And I was like, dude, that's like essentially what we're doing in my whole job. You're taking an altered state of consciousness and learning things. That's astral projection as well. So I want to dive into that and then like how, of course, hypnosis relates to all of that. And then in July, we're going to go into other lifetimes. So I am the past lives tour guide. We are going to take this idea from June, expanded awareness, and we're going to shine that light, put that focus on this idea of other lifetimes, parallel lives, past lives, future lives. And I'm going to go into what I used to think it all meant, what I think it means now after leading thousands of people on these hypnotic journeys, taking so many of these hypnotic journeys myself as well. My views have changed pretty wildly. Like, what are we actually doing on these journeys? Do we need to prove this is a thing? What benefit do we get from it? I'm going to go deep in July to tell you my understanding of what we're doing, how this is actually happening. And I'm not going to use words like raising your vibration and downloads. Like, there are actual things that are happening in our body and in our mind and in the energy that we are that makes this all very logical and reasonable. And when you understand these types of deeper, kind of also more out there topics, you'll feel more confident as you begin to navigate these realms, learning more about yourself and spending time in these altered states of consciousness. And then in August, we're going non-human, the unknown, extraterrestrials. What do UFOs have to do with this? Even more so with all the disclosure and stuff that's coming out about not only UFOs, but UFOs could be a million things. It's not automatically extraterrestrials or aliens. And so it could mean that. And if it does mean that, like, what does it mean? Well, I'm going to give you just some tips like how hypnosis can be used with some of these theories to help you make connection or help you feel more solid in yourself and in your own safety as the world just begins to talk more and more about these things. Before I started this work and started really navigating these altered states of consciousness and expanding my own awareness into what is in the unseen realms around us and how to keep myself safe, how to trust myself, what to know is my power in those spaces. Before I learned all of that, I was terrified of all of these subjects. I myself was once a little Catholic girl. So along all of these journeys that you're going to get and these theme episodes where I let you know why we're talking about it, how hypnosis is related, how to use it to your benefit. In the Patreon membership, I'm going even deeper. So I'm going to be sharing even more of my personal viewpoints on how all of this stuff is put together. I'll be sharing recordings from my own sessions where I'm exploring these wild topics. I'm also going to be sharing a session with a client who had a non-human lifetime. All of that is happening in August. We're going to have some fun on this podcast this summer. Fun, I guess, if you're weird like me. And before I tell you exactly what this is going to look like for our June hypnotic journeys, because it might be going in a direction you're not expecting, let me expand more on expanded awareness, astral projection, and the astral plane. What is expanded awareness? Well, first, let's talk about ordinary awareness. You can think of your ordinary awareness, your default settings up here, it's all geared towards survival. And whatever it is that your brain picked up as you were growing up as context clues as to what is surviving and what is not surviving. That awareness is also tainted by your filter, your perceptions, your beliefs in this world. Also formed probably by your parents, the community who raised you, the culture in which your DNA comes from. All of these things impact where our ordinary awareness can be settled. Like I said, it's survival focused. So everything is so you can stay alive, which is great, right? But most of our fears don't really have to do with dying, right? A lot of fears have to do with, what if I'm alone? That doesn't mean you're going to die. There's a lot of people who are alone and super happy and fulfilled. I am one of them. I've met a lot of them. I love people, but I also love to be alone. If I didn't address my fears of isolation, rejection, aloneness to me would mean something is wrong. I am wrong. I need to change something, but I don't know what. But instead, I've gone deep. I have a drive for a lot of solitude. I now, because I've gone deeper, I've expanded my awareness outside of survival. I know that solitude for me is where I get creativity, where all my ideas come from Instagram reels to hypnotic journeys to how to have this tough conversation, how to organize my schedule. All of those decisions are filtered through my awareness, my perspective in this world, my beliefs. So when I'm talking about expanded awareness, I'm saying expand your awareness outside of your default settings, outside of what you were raised in, outside of your DNA, outside of this humanness of our brain filtering information so we can stay alive. That filter determines what kind of life you see, what kind of opportunities you think are there, what kind of opportunities that are there that you think are for you. That filtering system, your perception, creates your entire life. And you could even say every emotion that you feel is in direct response with how that filter interacts with the world around you. So right now, there are sounds around you that you aren't noticing. There are sensations in your body that you're not noticing. Even your nervous system alone is filtering out all kinds of information and sensations to help you focus. And this is a survival technique. If you were aware of everything, you would not get a damn thing done. We would be in sensory overload. Okay, so when it comes to demonstrating these shifts in awareness, they're so subtle. It's like hard for people to grasp it and hard for people to take seriously. So I'm going to give it a try. That's what all of this is about. Okay, so imagine yourself in a quiet room, or just kind of close your eyes and go there mentally. And now just observe more of like what's around you. So you might get a sense more right away. Maybe you feel a breeze on your skin or the temperature of the air around you. Maybe you can hear like the clock tick, or maybe the traffic outside the window. And maybe you feel like tension in your jaw. Maybe you feel it in your neck now. Maybe you can kind of feel your shoulders relax just after becoming aware of that tension in your neck. You can easily notice your breathing. You can even notice your heartbeat. All of those things have been there the whole time. And some of them your whole life. But they aren't necessary to what your subconscious mind deems as necessary for survival. So you haven't paid attention to them. But they are there. Your awareness has just simply shifted away from them, and then back to them, and then away from them again. A lot of times when people think of my work or this idea of expanding your awareness or experiencing altered states of consciousness, they think of it as escaping reality. I do not see it that way. I mean, 100% you can do anything and be shut down, not pay attention, focus on the wrong things. That can happen all the time, everywhere. Don't let it surprise you. But the intention behind the way I live and the hypnotic journeys I create, this expanded awareness isn't about like escaping reality. Like, sure, the journey itself will help you feel relaxed. It'll reset your nervous system. No matter what journey you're doing, you're going to feel deeply relaxed. You'll reset your nervous system. You're going to gain some insights and wisdom about yourself, about your path in life. We are not escaping reality. We are doing all of this to learn more, become more aware of what's going on around us that is influencing us subconsciously, unconsciously, and what's going on inside of us. The very simplest way I can describe this is the words expanded awareness. It's becoming aware of more. And when we go into hypnosis, we become deeply relaxed. Remember how just a second ago you closed your eyes, and just by closing your eyes, you didn't even go into trance. You just closed your eyes. You were able to hear sounds around you that you weren't aware of before. You were able to hear your breath, maybe even feel your heartbeat. Maybe even some of you, that's the first time you heard your heartbeat in your own body. We are not escaping. We are becoming more aware so we can use these energies to our advantage. So that's the principle behind it all. In the way I see it is we are expanding what we know. We are becoming aware of more with intention, with quiet stillness, with focus, with going into that transcendental state, that hypnotic trance state. But there are all kinds of ways to expand your awareness. It's simply an intention. You can go into hypnosis. That is the intention. Essentially, we get even more focused within that intention for each hypnotic journey. But hypnosis expands your awareness. But simply the intention to expand your awareness does. You could again, close your eyes right now. You're going to expand your awareness of what's going on around you. Now, altered states of consciousness, that's just as broad. It's a way that we can get out of that ordinary survival focused awareness and see our life from a different angle, have an experience that's completely different than our waking life. And within those two buckets, you can create all kinds of change in your life. So of course, hypnosis is an altered state of consciousness. That's the focus here. But you can do this in all kinds of ways. You can do it with meditation, praying, chanting, dancing, breathing, humming, toning, journaling, channeling, dreaming, lucid dreaming, flow states, near-death experiences, paranormal experiences, intuitive knowings, psychedelic experiences, utilizing other plant medicine for other types of altered states of consciousness. All of these things may seem very different, even very different people talking about them, but they all involve a change of perception, a different way to perceive the world around you so you can learn more, become aware of more. Okay, now, what are we becoming more aware of? Well, you can simply become more aware of the world around you. When I'm walking across a dark parking lot to my vehicle, I'm not on my phone, totally distracted, focused on something that doesn't matter, focused on something that really takes my attention. No, I'm looking around, I'm being quiet so I can hear things, sense things that might be out of the normal. So that's one way we can use expanded awareness just to become safer in our physical environment. But when we're talking about other lifetimes, contacting your higher self or spirit guides, connecting with a loved one on the other side, experiencing other lifetimes, experiencing other dimensions, having contact with extraterrestrials or elementals. What exactly are we becoming aware of to access that information? Okay, here's where I'm going to get a little weird. In the Patreon episode that comes out on the 13th of June, I'm going to go even deeper into this. But again, first, what I want to say is that, of course, I'm not an expert. I am a hypnotist. I'm not a researcher. I'm not even a paranormal investigator, but I have spent years, thousands of hours working with altered states of consciousness, expanding awareness, not only for myself personally, but for my clients as well. I'm not one of these guides where I think I'm done, and so I'm done, and now I'm teaching everybody else. I'm still on this path. I'm still learning, but I have been alongside of or directly in experiences where we have connected to that space in between lives. We've connected to other lifetimes that feel incredibly real. We've connected to the future. We've had connections with loved ones on the other side that feel just as real life. We've had connections with extraterrestrial or unknown non-human beings. So many things have come to me via this hypnosis practice that I was not even thinking about when I first got into hypnosis. So what I can say, these crazy terms out there like astral projection, remote viewing, telepathy, all these things that seem made up or like only a charlatan would talk about them. I gotta say, over the hundreds of wild ass experiences I've had with thousands of clients and hypnotic journeys over time, how could I not just become less dismissive? Like naturally, I'm curious anyway, but if I wasn't curious, just the nature of my job makes me so curious, because when we get into that transcendental space, hypnotic trance, when we open up to that with specific intentions, each person is so different that what unfolds is completely unique to them. And sometimes it's pretty out there. So I can't say it's made me certain on a type of framework or how I see the world, but it has given me more context and it just makes me even more curious. I'll never forget the first time I had a client who connected with a loved one on the other side. I knew a little bit in theory that people had done these things, but it wasn't something that I was trying to do. It wasn't something I even knew how to do. And for most of my life, the idea of someone on the other side trying to contact me, I don't care how much I love them, was terrifying to me. So this client had come in for a past life regression, and we went through all of the scenes, the memories. We went through the death scene. We were reflecting on that life. And then when I had asked, like, is there anything else for you to know about this journey, about the path that you're on currently? And someone from the other side had come in and she was having contact with them. Now, as a hypnotist, a lot of times the client doesn't say much. And so I had gotten that she knew this person, she was having the experience, and she said, so-and-so is here. And it was really neutral. And so I'm like, do you want that person to be here? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this person, right? I only know them from this session. So I right away asked, like, do you want this person? Do you want this being to be here? And she said yes. And I asked, what's the relationship? What's this person saying to you? And she had this whole emotional, moving moment with this loved one on the other side. And when she came out of that session, we debrief like we normally do. And then a few weeks later, I had reached out. At the time, I was reaching out to all my clients being like, how are you doing? Like a month later. And she had mentioned that session and connecting with that person that she knew who had passed away actually shifted more for her. It kind of switched it. It showed her that she can have a connection with them, that they are always there. And she said that was more healing than the 18 months of therapy that she had done over the grief of losing this person before that hypnosis session. So things like that would happen in my session. I've had a client who encountered light beings, extraterrestrials, beings from a different dimension, and I actually had to have them step away from her. I had to have her put up a barrier so she could be in their presence without being so physically affected by it, so her and I could have a conversation about it. So these things just happen. Every once in a while over the course of thousands of hypnotic journeys and almost 8 years of leading these sessions. And everything I've asked, loved ones on the other side, clients' higher selves, my own higher self, my own exploring that I've done, I personally really align with that theory that the brain is more like an antenna or kind of this like arm that reaches out, this great filing system of information that we have. As a hypnotist, I was trained that everything that's ever happened to you is stored in your subconscious mind. And so what that means is that it's in your subconscious mind. It is directly related to your programming, to your beliefs, to your fears, how you see the world, how you see yourself, how you see yourself in the world. And with that, it's not a part of our conscious living life because it's similar to our brain filtering out whatever we need to do to survive, to exist. So no, like that memory from your third day of kindergarten is not hanging out in your conscious mind, probably. But that memory could be traumatic enough or beautiful enough that it's actually pushing you down the right path, or it's blocking you from all the action it would take, all the courage you need to move forward in the path that would really light you up, that would really show, that life that your soul came here to create. In almost 8 years of leading these sessions and taking countless journeys myself, I don't believe that it's all stored in our brain. I think our brain is absorbing information that is all around us. Some of it in the seen, some of it in the unseen. We did that little experiment. We closed our eyes and realized there is more going on around us than we are typically aware of. We can all at least agree on that. If you take, for example, our eyes, according to science, humans can only see about 0.0035% of the total electromagnetic spectrum. And what they call this tiny sliver is visible light. Okay, so it says, and visible light spans wavelengths from roughly 380 to 750 nanometers. The rest of the spectrum, it includes radio waves, X-rays, gamma rays, completely invisible to the human eye, but they are there, and the people who are aware of them before we had machinery to detect them were called crazy, called conspiracy theorists, I'm sure. Okay, another thing, this world around us that our eyeballs actually cannot see, and that allows me to think maybe all of this stuff is more so around us rather than in my brain, is dark matter. Now, hang on with me. This is a little bit above me, but the point of dark matter that I want to hit home is that it's a mysterious, invisible substance that acts as the gravitational glue of the universe. It makes up about 85% of all matter in the cosmos. 85%! Yet it's entirely invisible, and scientists don't really know what it is, don't really know the function, don't really understand it. And the reason why people know about dark matter, this invisible substance, is basically context clues from video from the universe. Now, scientists have speculation of like what it might be made of, but there's a lot of ifs. So when you think about these scientists studying and observing the universe from which we came from, by their estimates, we understand less than 1% of the universe. And then there's what they call unknown 95%. And that's basically scientists saying that out of everything we've mapped out, everything we think we know, about 95% is shrug. We don't know what it is. Even within this little 1%, this little bubble that humans know about the universe we reside in, that little bit, they say 95% of it is dark matter and dark energy that we can't see directly. So things that are not dark matter, not dark energy, so that would be like people, planets, stars, that makes up about 5% of what we know exists in the universe. And I would say I know 5% of something. There's a chance I am way off on that number, right? Like there's a good chance I don't even know 5%. So what I'm saying here is that when you get into the study of consciousness, of awareness, of being a being on this planet, in this universe, and what does that mean? There is a lot of gray area in a lot of things that people don't know. Are your memories from another lifetime in your water glass? Probably not, but are they around you in your earth suit? Are they stuck in your brain? I don't think they're stuck in your brain. I think this stuff is all around us. And one of the reasons is because when a client has this contact with a loved one on the other side, I've lost count of the amount of times that loved one says, I am right here. I am always right here. I'm like right in front of you. You just can't see me. You would have so much less grief, they always say, because of the fact that I am right here. And I think that all kinds of dimensions, all kinds of realms, it's happening all at once, and it's happening all stacked up on each other. So when we get quiet, we can hear the clock ticking, the thing dripping, the neighbor talking across the street. But with knowledge of what we can go looking for and how we can gain access to that information, we can get quiet, go into trance, go into that transcendental state that we move into in these deep healing experiences or spiritual experiences or flow states. And we can observe the energetic fields around us and the information that we can intuitively pick up from it. And that's how we can access memories from another lifetime. That's how we can access information from the collective. Because if my awareness is around me, just like all my memories, all my soul's experiences, connections, love that I feel, if that's all around me, then it's all around you, and it's all around her, and it's all around him, and together we make the collective. I could go on, but with so many unknowns, how can we just dismiss these things, experiences, these ideas, these journeys, these places that we can go with our awareness, with our consciousness? Talking about traveling to these other places, experiencing things in the unseen realms around us, brings me to astral projection. What is astral projection? I'm hearing about it more and more, just like even mainstream people talking about it, which is cool. But I just want to say, are we talking about the same thing? Here's what I'm talking about when I say astral projection. I think of astral projection is when our consciousness, what we are aware of, what we are experiencing, the information we're taking in is clearly outside of our body. It's outside of logic. Some people experience it like floating above the body. Some people see it as like a vibrational state. Some people see it as like a dream-like environment. So it's similar to a dream, even a lucid dream, but it's more direct, it's more intentional. Other things with astral projection, people will talk about like, oh, I could move through walls, or I accidentally came back into my body and was like startled by it, or it was a very sudden thing. And this is part of the reason why I wanted to talk about astral projection specifically this month. Because whether you believe in it symbolically, psychologically, spiritually, neurologically, we're hearing about it more and more. Astral projection is that simple. My awareness, the consciousness of my mind is traveling. It's experiencing things that are outside of logic. Other lifetimes, other dimensions, other places, loved ones on the other side, remote viewing of the moon or a different side of the planet. It's all related to expanded awareness, getting quiet, understanding how this information comes to you through your intuition, through your subtle knowing, and come back feeling more connected to your life. All right, once people start talking about astral projection, the next thing that usually comes up is the astral plane. In my mind, I organize it like the astral plane is kind of like the first place that we go before we go anywhere else. When we get our consciousness outside of this body, outside of this being and earth suit, the astral plane is the first place that we go. So it's not an actual place. It's more, I think of it as like a realm or a way of experiencing life, information, learning about yourself, learning about the unseen realms. It all starts in the astral plane. So less a place, more like a mode to perceive things, like a place that your mind is going. Like if I said, remember lunch yesterday, your mind would go to lunchtime yesterday and whatever it is that you did. And that's the same here, is like we are going somewhere before we go these other places, like the life between lives, another lifetime, connecting with loved ones on the other side. I don't think it's as layered and blatant as this, but if you think of it like if my conscious awareness is traveling, I am going somewhere else, whether to a memory or I'm experiencing what feels like a space between lifetimes or another lifetime or another planet or dimension or something else. All of those things are like rooms on a hallway. And if the hallway is the astral plane, we got to come out of where we are right now, this conscious, regular awareness. We come out of that. And our awareness is in a state of the astral plane. Think of it like an altered state of consciousness, a different way of perceiving things, almost like a different channel that you're tuned into. If you think of your brain like an antenna picking up all this information around you through dimensions and space and time, kind of like a radio picks up radio frequency and can read those waves. Think of it like that. You're kind of you're like tuning your mind, you're tuning your conscious awareness to a different state, to a different consciousness level, to a different perspective. And I think that's the most valuable part. Speaking of which, let's get into these hypnotic journeys this month. The hypnotic journeys this month are really geared around releasing fear, seeing things from a new perspective so we can release fear and see even more. Science has proven that when we are in a state of fear, not only does our perception, like what we are aware of in general, get smaller, but our actual vision of our eyes becomes more narrow. So our whole being, our whole awareness and way of seeing and experiencing becomes super narrow when we're afraid. And I used to live in a constant fear state. Constantly afraid that I was an asshole, constantly afraid that I was being rejected, constantly afraid that I was going to lose what I want, what I had, constantly afraid that I wasn't going to get what I wanted. Fear will keep you small and it will keep you stuck. Our first hypnotic journey this month comes next week. It's episode 275. It's another sleep hypnotic journey, one that you're going to listen to at bedtime right before you drift off to sleep. This is for someone who has that question, can I even trust what I'm seeing? Get that clear perception in a distorted world. You'll get hypnotic suggestions that help bolster your ability to be self-aware. With that, know who you are, know what's right for you, discernment, that subtle perception, intuitive noticing, recognizing distortions, having emotional clarity, having some nice body awareness, grounded intuition. This is a directive hypnotic track, so you're going to turn it on and listen right before you fall asleep. If you listen to this hypnotic journey once, you'll feel great. If you listen to it every night for 30 nights in a row, you're going to notice a vast difference between you today and you in 30 days after having layer by by layer, put these hypnotic suggestions into your mind, shifted your perspective day after day with this hypnotic journey. The hypnotic journey coming the week after that, that's episode 276. It's a journey beyond fear into another lifetime where you had clear perception, razor sharp discernment. Like I said, fear contracts what we're aware of, what we can perceive, what we can do. A sense of safety will soften our nervous system, open up those ways of perceiving, eyeballs included. By having that experience in the hypnotic trance state with the intention to take those learnings with you into this life, you're going to come into this life feeling more confident, more secure in who you are and how to operate in the madness around us. Our third hypnotic journey this month is a journey to your higher self. Sometimes we have a goal in mind or something we've always wanted to do, but there are just things that get in the way. Maybe it's a fear, maybe it's nonstop excuses, maybe you don't entirely feel like you're capable enough or you're smart enough. This hypnotic journey is for those times that you know what you want and the fear is rising. You feel fearful or intimidated or strung out by what it will require of you, or maybe you're in the middle of it and you're stressed out by what it is requiring of you. So the questions we explore in this hypnotic journey: what am I capable of that I'm not quite aware of yet? What's the fear standing between me and this thing, this life that I want? If I were to be courageous and strong, what would that look like here? What does it look like when fear isn't leading the charge? Listen to this hypnotic journey once this month or whenever you need it in the future. You know what you want. Now get beyond the fears that are blocking you. So next week, we begin with that bedtime journey designed to help you strengthen your connection to your inner signal, your inner knowing. And as conversations about intuition, expanded awareness, astral projection, and the unseen realms around us, as those continue to grow, I believe one of the most important skills that we can develop is the ability to know ourselves clearly. All of these hypnotic journeys are designed for you to soften the fear, see more clearly, understand who you are and your power, and how to move forward. So we're not escaping. We're getting more in touch with who you are by getting way out there. So that is what's coming in the upcoming weeks. That last week of June, we have an extra week, and I'm going to share a hypnosis session with you. I'm not sure. I have a couple on deck that I could share that I will share this summer. So I'm going to see which one do I want to bring to you. But I will have clips from a hypnosis session. We'll be talking more about expanded awareness, more about navigating the unseen realms around us and accessing your power from those experiences. Until that hypnotic journey comes out next week, I got a little tip for you, a little option if you want to try it. A lot of times when we're talking about astral projection, expanding your awareness, traveling with your consciousness, a lot of times people go looking and expecting this huge mystical experience. And that could happen with a hypnotic journey for sure. But in the meantime, in everyday ordinary moments, just begin to notice more. Set that intention to become aware of more, to expand your awareness. That's it. Notice the moments you relax. Notice the moments you tense up. Notice the intuitive nudges that you usually just race on by. Notice what happens when you get a little quieter. Notice what happens when you examine your fear. Yes, we're talking about expanded awareness, but that includes awareness of you and your internal environment. So sure, we are leaving your body at times, but it's also we can come back here and be more present, more aligned with the life that we came here to create. And trust what you know. I'll be back next week with a hypnotic journey for you. You can learn more about my work at seersessions.com.